Hello friends and welcome back to another video. Today we have additional cruise news and travel news from the CDC. We're excited to break it all down for you and discuss what this means for the travel industry and for cruising in particular. Before we get started, welcome. My name is Alanna Zingano from Travel the World A to Z. If you're new, welcome. I love to share videos all on cruising and travel and so much more, sharing our experiences with you. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss my next video. Let's get started and discuss some of the juicy details of everything that has happened today. So today, the breaking cruise news is the CDC has updated a new next phase of the conditional guidance, a framework for the conditional sailing order known as the CSO. So they're requiring cruise lines to establish agreements with ports of call that they intend to operate and implement routine testing of crew and develop plans incorporating vaccination strategies to help reduce the risk of introduction and the spread of COVID-19 by crew and passengers. So with this phase of the CSO, the conditional sailing order that was originally put in place back in October of 2020, we have technical instructions on increasing from weekly to daily reporting on the frequency of COVID-19 cases and illnesses that happen on board the ships, along with implementing routine testing for all crew based on the ship's color status. So ships will have specific colors and they go from red to green, and green means that us passengers can sail on board. If they're not green, then they are working their way towards being green. But there is a new update as well with this, that they have decreased the amount of time that a ship has to be in red to move to green. So it used to go from 28 days and now has moved to 14 days based on the availability of onboard testing, routine screening and protocols, and the daily reporting is going to allow them to move this up much quicker, resulting in ships within a specific cruise line's fleet available to come back on service and online faster. An additional step that is required with these technical instructions is that creating planning materials for agreements between the port authorities, local health authorities, and the cruise lines to ensure that the necessary infrastructure is in place to manage any possible outbreaks that may happen on the ship, and to include healthcare capacity and housing to isolate infected people and quarantine those who are exposed. So they're really limiting any type of scenario where a cruise ship wouldn't be allowed into a port because it had infected people on board. They're looking ahead to make sure that every scenario is going to be properly managed. And then lastly, they're establishing a plan and timeline for vaccination of crew and port personnel. So they're making sure that on land and on the ship, they are going to be fully vaccinated. Now, another exciting part of this next phase of the conditional sailing order is that it will include the simulated trial voyages that will allow the crew and port personnel to practice the new operational procedures with volunteers before sailing with passengers. This update doesn't give any knowledge on whether or not the volunteers will be employees or family members of the cruise line, or if you and me will be eligible to do this as well. We'll have to hear more from the cruise lines on that and when that will happen exactly. But the CDC wasn't done. Today, they also came out with additional other news, updating its travel guidance for fully vaccinated people to reflect on the latest evidence and science. Because of the real-world effects of vaccination, fully vaccinated people can travel, and they are saying that they are low risk to themselves. So a person is considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after receiving the last recommended dose of the vaccine. So if you're fully vaccinated, you can travel within the United States, and COVID testing, post-travel, and self-quarantine are not required as long as you continue to take precautions while you are traveling, which means wearing your mask, avoiding crowds, social distancing, and washing hands frequently. The CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, said that with millions of Americans getting vaccinated every day, it's important to update the public with the latest science about being fully vaccinated and that people can do so safely now, including guidance on safe travel. We encourage every American to get the vaccine as soon as it is their turn so we can begin to safely take the steps back in our daily lives. Vaccines help us return to things we love about life, and we encourage every American to get the vaccine as soon as they have the opportunity. So if she says that we can get back to the things we love, if we love cruising, this is great news for us because it puts us one step closer with all of these announcements. And the only caveat to this, the only downside is that there are additional variances of COVID-19 happening throughout the world. So the CDC is providing additional guidance in related to international travel. So for folks who are looking to travel internationally, and we actually are, as we have an upcoming cruise in June, which is sailing out of the Bahamas, this will be applicable to us. And any of you who may be thinking of some summer travel as well. So if you're fully vaccinated, you can travel internationally without getting a COVID test before travel, unless it is required by the international destination. So in my case, the Bahamas would have to require it for me to get it beforehand. And also, fully vaccinated people do not need to self-quarantine after returning to the United States unless it's required by your state or the local jurisdiction. Additionally, fully vaccinated people should have a negative COVID test result before they board a flight to the United States and get a test 3 to 5 days after returning from international travel. Fully vaccinated people should continue to take COVID-19 precautions while traveling internationally. Again, that's social distancing, wearing your mask, washing your hands, etc. So if you're excited to hear about these changes for folks who are vaccinated and are able to travel more, be sure to smash the thumbs up button to show your excitement. Now, one important thing to note is that the guidance issued today does not actually change the agency's existing guidance for people who are not fully vaccinated. So if you're unvaccinated, you're still advised to get a test 1 to 3 days before domestic travel, and again, 3 to 5 days after. And you should stay home and self-quarantine 7 to 10 days after travel. Now, all of this news today is just coming 1 week after the CDC was blasted by Florida politicians along with the cruise lines CEOs. Many heavy hitters from all of the big cruise lines came together in a roundtable discussion with the governor of Florida and the mayor, saying how they wanted to get the cruise line industry back up and running. The mayor of Miami said that we were excited that the CDC was shortly issuing new guidelines and restorative cruising, taking into consideration the advancements made possible by the vaccine. We're eager to work with the CDC and the cruise industry as a positive partner and a resource. We're ready to collaborate and make sure that the cruise capital of the world can lead the way to rebuild this critical industry. So the mayor's response is really reassuring that they are willing to create a plan and abide by the CDC's latest guidelines of needing agreements that the port authorities and local health authorities must approve to ensure cruise lines have the necessary infrastructure in place to manage any possible outbreak. So that's really great news that all parties involved are willing to come together to make cruising happen. We haven't had such great news from the CDC in so long, so this is actually really a wonderful way to end our week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smash the thumbs up button if you are excited about the CDC's great news today with these 2 different updates on general travel and cruise news announcements. I think we will be seeing trial sailings very soon this summer and hopefully cruising as well in the United States very soon. If you have any predictions, questions, or comments, let me know in the comment section down below. I can't wait to continue the conversation with you. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, ciao for now.